Okay, now with all our newfound knowledge, we can install the next grab bar. We're going to put that up there. Remember I said I want this edge right here within 2 inches, maybe a little bit less than 2 inches, because you got 1/2 inch sheetrock at least. Some houses are 5/8 sheetrock, but usually 1/2 inch plus your corner bead. So if I make 1/2 inch, that's a little less than the stud, and then 1.5 inches for the stud. But I don't want to be right on the very edge of the stud, do I? I want to be over this way a little bit. And so I'll make this, you know, less than 2 inches to the center hole, because I don't want to get too close to the edge of the stud either. I want holding power, so I might want to make this maybe only 1.5 inches off of the corner. Let's see if you can see that. I guess you can. Okay, so if I hold that about 1.5 inches off the edge, like that, and then on these outside ones, I know I'm going to have, you see, if I hold that up there like that, I've got a couple inch gap there, and you see I got about 2 inches from the edge, and you've got sheetrock, and then you've got your stud, and I've got 2 inches to the edge, and then I'm going to actually go over even further over here, because you remember when I put those wing nuts on, remember these are the wing nut things that I'm going to put on the back. I'm going to do this one the same way as before. They tell you need 1 inch from the center of the hole over to the edge clearance from the stud. Okay, so even if I wanted to have centered this on the wall instead of cheating it over this way to the outside corner, I want to make sure this edge here does not encroach within 1 inch of the stud inside the wall, okay? Because then that will allow enough clearance on here. When I cut the hole here and push this in, I don't want this edge of the winglet to hit the stud, okay? So I'm going to check all that out and get some marks here on the wall and get ready to go. I guess I'm going to come off 1.25 inches. That should give me enough room, and I got 35 1/4 to the center, and that's what we've determined here. You can make yours height whatever you want. You know, it doesn't have to be 35 1/4. It's just because that's where he feels comfortable. Okay, now I might measure over 1.25 inches right there, and that's where my screw's going to go. And that one, see, I'm not going to put those plastic, I can't put those anchors in the wall because they're too close over here. This one here, this last screw here is going to hit the wood stud. So I'm going to actually drill a hole here, a pilot hole, and I'm going to actually put a wood screw right into the wood. And that's going to support this side. And then on the other side is where I'm going to use the winglets. I was going to have you take it for granted I knew what I was doing here. I've got my measurements here, and I checked it with the level and everything, and now I'm going to hold it up there and light it up, because I got a pencil mark over there. I'm going to hold it right where I think it needs to go. Come on. Right there, I guess. Okay. Now I can mark it. The center of that. And the center of this one down there. Alright. I've got my 2 holes. I've got wallpaper again. I'm going to do this the same way I did the last one, being mindful of anything I learned which I should be careful about as I'm doing this. And I know there wasn't a stud here. You can see it's way over here in the corner. And that's good because I don't want to hit a stud for these anchors. If I were to hit a stud, I'd just put in screws, right? And before you put screws in too, incidentally, you want to drill a pilot hole into the wood stud. Don't think you're just going to ram a screw into a 50-year-old piece of wood in the wall. Even if it was new construction, you're probably going to want to pre-drill your holes so that you can get your screw in there without stripping the head. And incidentally, if this was new construction, what could you do? You decide before you put your sheetrock up, decide where you think you might want to put grab bars. Put some grab bar backing in the wall. That's like a 2x10 or 2x12 flat, you know, on edge going back and forth in between the bay. Then you can adjust and put your grab bar wherever you want within there and screw it into wood. Oh, that works good.